On gay marriage, I support traditional marriage, just do. I supported Proposition 8, and I'm really, really angry at Attorney General Brown for having the gall to sue us over our ability to change our Constitution. Now, this issue of gay marriage, traditional marriage, was put in front of the voters twice, and twice the voters have answered the question. So we have a right to set up our own Constitution the way we want it. With regards to abortion, now I am not a proponent of making abortions easier. In fact, I want to drive the number of abortions down to 0. This is a major difference between my opponent, Meg Whitman, and me. She believes in government funding of abortions. I don't. I believe in outlawing late-term abortions immediately. I believe in parental notification. I do believe in all state and federal funding for abortion should stop. And I think working together, we can drive it in this process. Lots of questions. Great.
Thank you, Mr. Poizner. Governor Davis had said that teaching should be an entry-level job and then go on to something of more value. And I board in California, but taught in Nevada, and attraction there in real estate is public schools with good teachers. I want to know more about your charter schools. My impression was that, my question is, are teachers valued in charter schools?
How many existing or retired teachers are in the room? Wow. Honestly, as I mentioned, hardest thing I've ever done. Teachers are an incredibly underappreciated profession. Let's hear it for teachers. The nice thing about charter schools is that they have more flexibility to hire teachers that aren't necessarily through the credentialing process. Charter schools can put together the kinds of pay-for-performance structures where fantastic teachers get paid better, and also charter schools empower teachers to have more control over their own classroom, over the curriculum and the facilities. Teaching should be a profession. And when I was in the classroom, I'm telling you, it's all about the relationship between the teacher and the student. And great teachers are so valuable to the state of California. And we should be supporting them as best we can. We've really got to empower teachers now. Unfortunately, teachers are so frustrated because they don't control the curriculum, the facilities, anything. And it's not a profession any longer. They're a cog in a major machine. The CTA, the most powerful union in the state, 40% of the California Teachers Association members are Republicans. Now, I plan to communicate directly with all of these members. Now, the union leadership is a different story. But we're going to get a lot of teachers on board here because they want to reform the schools as bad as the rest of us. A few more questions.
Hello. Recently, the Cal State and UC systems, the tuition has been on the rise. What solutions do you have to make college affordable again?
Every dollar we taxpayers invest in higher education, we do get a 4 times return. That's been documented over and over again. We all know that the higher education system in California is one of our crown jewels. That's what's made California so special. And not just the UC system, but CSU, community colleges. We have just a fantastic higher education system that's now in the process of deteriorating for a whole bunch of reasons. It's about priority setting. So here we have about $85 billion coming in to the state of California, even in the middle of this recession. So how do you spend that money? I wouldn't spend it on this big fat welfare system, and I think that all the state agencies need to be right-sized by 15%. I want to overhaul the prison healthcare system. In fact, on my website, stevepoizner.com, you can see all the details behind everything I've been talking about here. So I invite you to take a look. But as governor, my top priority is going to be individual liberty and protecting people's individual liberty and public safety. That's got to be my most important priority as governor. But way high up there is public education, our system. And we have to have a great university system, higher education system. It's a matter of making that a priority for our tax dollars. And right now, it's close to the bottom. And for those people who want to spend more money, now I don't. I actually want to shrink the size of government. But for those of you who want to think that we need to spend some more money, we're never going to have any more money to spend. We're broke. The state is bankrupt. We have to bring jobs back to the state of California in order to grow the economy. And that's going to be a centerpiece concept of my whole campaign. This state will never get fixed until we overhaul the tax and the regulatory system to bring more jobs back. Okay, a few more.
Hi, Steve. I'm a mother of 3 young children, and I don't have time to wait for the public school system to get their act together. So I've chosen to homeschool. And also, as I was raised in a private school, my parents scraped and scrimped to put me and my siblings through private school. Do you support a tax deduction for the tuition parents pay for private schools and also the expenses I myself incur purchasing curriculum for my children? And the second question is, do you support homeschooling?
The first question about the tax deduction, I'm going to have to look into that one. That I haven't studied, but I'll tell you my support, though, for school choice. I'm a passionate believer in options for parents. I'm a big believer in homeschooling. In fact, when one of the courts made a decision that people who homeschool had to have a teaching credential, what a disaster that would have been. Unfortunately, that got overturned. But I'll fight hard for homeschools. My daughter goes to a private school. Charter schools are more options. Parents are in the best position to know. I will look into this issue about tax deductions. Yeah. I will look at it. Thank you.
Wait a second. This is supposed to be the last question here.
Thank you for all these questions. They're really fantastic.
Would you address the issue of states' rights? And the Constitution, the 10th Amendment addresses that. The federal government continues to take over more and more responsibility, which is the responsibility of the states. How will you fight that?
Yeah. I'm just a big believer in pushing control down to the local level as much as possible. So let me talk about the federal government in a second. Let's just talk about Sacramento. I believe there's a problem even inside the state of California. Too much power concentrated in Sacramento. We should push more of that down to the local level. But with regards to the federal government, I worked in Washington, D.C. in the White House, as I mentioned. You know, for a year, I saw these big, gigantic federal bureaucracies in action. I mean, when you think of federal bureaucracies, you know, you think of FEMA and Amtrak and, oh my gosh. And so this idea of creating another federal bureaucracy to manage our health care, what a disaster idea that is. But let me specifically talk about one position I've taken in this campaign that has to do with state rights. I did teach the 10th Amendment as a government teacher. I think the 10th Amendment is one of the most important amendments to our Constitution. But if you want to know, what I've already analyzed about this, let me give you an example when it comes to water. Now, we're in a water crisis in this state, as we all know. I've spent a lot of time in the Central Valley, where 30,000 farm workers have been laid off. There's been $1 billion of crops that have died on the vine. Now, why do we have a water crisis? Now, I heard drought. Now, I'm the insurance commissioner. I see the impact of the drought, no question, all the fires, and I get to help people rebuild their lives by making sure insurance companies pay quickly when they lose their homes. So I see the drought in action. But honestly, this water crisis is man-made. One unelected federal judge has taken over our water supply, and I think that is wrong and illegal. And as I say on my website in my water policy section, if I were governor today, I would sue that federal judge based on the 10th Amendment and take it all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Thank you all for all these questions. Let me just say one thing, though, as you compare and contrast. One reason why I'm here today is because I want you to know I can't do this by myself. I need your vote and I need your support. There are 2 good people running now. Tom Campbell was a great man. He's now running for the U.S. Senate. There's only 2 people running the Republican primary, Meg Whitman and myself. And we both have very interesting backgrounds. But I'm going to invite you to analyze some of the differences. I mean, only one of us has actually started companies from scratch. It's an important difference. Only one of us has run statewide and won. Only one of us has been in the classroom with low-income kids. Only one of us helped build the charter school movement. Only one of us was in the White House. Only one of us has actually been able to take a large state agency and shrink it. Now, I am the only one running. Now, Jerry Brown, I won't even talk about that guy. But I'm the only guy running that has 20 years of experience at starting and running companies from scratch. So I know how to bring jobs back. But I also have 8 years of success now in politics and in public sector service. And what I think you all are looking for, what voters are looking for, is no more career politicians. But you also don't want to elect a rookie either. It's hard in Sacramento. You want leaders who can get things done is what you want. And so I would love to have your help and support in my campaign. Steve